The next contemporary issue I'm going to be talking about is politics within sport. I'm going to be covering political benefits of hosting major international events, history of politics in sport, and negatives that come along with politics in sport. So firstly, political benefits of hosting major international games. One benefit of hosting an international game, for example the Football World Cup, is that it financially brings many benefits. For example, through tourism, many people have to pay for somewhere to sleep, so local independent hotels would majorly benefit. In addition to this, people also have to eat out, so people eating out for dinner, restaurants and small businesses overall have a financial gain, which in general increases the country's economics. Lots of money can be put into creating these football venues, for example, for the World Cup and for the Olympic Games. But after these venues have been built, they also can be places where people can go for wedding venues, prom venues, so they're still having a financial income even once the Games is over. The next factor I'm going to be talking about is that it raises quality of life. For example, if brand new grounds are being made to host the World Cup, for example, then the surrounding area may also be urbanised to create good image for the country. If the quality of life is better in an area, then this means that the NHS bills are going to decrease because less people will be falling ill. If less people are falling ill, that is then more people out working, providing economic income to that country. Even when there are large games going on, e.g. the World Cup, the buzz it can bring can extremely change people's mood for the better. It brings positive emotions. The next factor is that it brings people together. This can be on a small scale, for example families coming together, or on a large scale, e.g. England teams. Overall, it creates a great sense of unity and community that people thrive off. This could link back to the quality of life, spending time with family and friends and doing something you enjoy that isn't work. In addition, large sporting events are a chance for people to blue their political opinion or create awareness for something. For example, Pep Guardiola was seen wearing a yellow ribbon during the FA Cup defeat at Wigan. The yellow ribbon had been placed or painted in public places by private citizens and also by some government officers in support of political and former members of the regional government of the Spanish community of Catalonia who currently are in prison or exile and who are accused of various charges including rebellion, sedition and a misuse of public funds. Finally, it is a way of people being able to present their country as the best. For example, during the Olympics, they would pull out all the stops to impress people. It's a shop window effect. If you see something nice in the window, you want to go in and have a look. This is the same for the Olympics of the country. If they can see that the country is pulling out all the stops for the Olympics or the World Cup, for example, then it's going to make them want to go. And it's going to present their country as being the best. The next factor I'm going to be talking about is the history of politics in sport. One example in history where politics has had a huge impact was during the World War I in 1914. Both troops, British and German, came out of their trenches in peace and had a game of football. This is a huge example of how sport, for example football, can actually bring people together no matter what the circumstances are. Now I'm going to be focusing on the negatives of politics in sport. Politics has a huge impact on modern day sport and has many negative impacts. Sporting events such as the World Cup and the Olympic Games are known for having their large audience platform. I believe this is a great way for the world to come together through people's love for sport. However, due to such a large audience, this does come with its disadvantages, e.g. terrorism. Due to such a large audience, they are a threat for terrorism. If something was to happen, they know that everyone is watching and it will get lots of publicity from the media and the world in general, as games such as the Olympics and World Cup are world stage events. If something bad was to happen, for example, a large amount of people got hurt, then it casts a shadow over the sporting achievements and will be remembered forever. This is why the hosts have to put in large amounts of money into the event to make sure that people are safe. An example in football where politics has impacted the sport was during the 2018 World Cup, where Russia, the host, had conflict with eastern Ukraine. Due to an event which happened during the Euro 2012, the USA had recently just passed the Ukraine Freedom Support. Russia had been fined by the USA, so people thought that they weren't able to host a game. This whole situation between the countries takes away from the sporting event and creates a dark cloud over the sporting achievements. However, an example of where terrorism has impacted sport, moving away from football, was during the 1973 Montreal Olympics. Palestinian militants group took the Israeli national team hostage, eventually slaughtering 11 athletes and coaches and one German police officer after a 16-hour standoff. Now, when people think back to that Olympics, they're not going to think about the amazing sporting achievement. They're going to think of the terrible events that happened. To summarise, I think that politics has had a huge impact in modern day sport and even historically. I think that it affects everyone from the participants taking part, as I think they're more and more unsafe, and I think it also affects people watching it and people that love sport, and they also don't feel safe when going to large events, and it takes away the fun and the natural buzz that should come along with sport.